Madam Tabila, in our previous interview that we have made in the last year, you said that first doses of Kovak's vaccine should become available to the people in Macedonia in March. We are now in the second half of March. When we can expect these vaccines to arrive in Macedonia?
It's true that I have said that, and the expectations were very optimistic. However, we have seen that in the reality there is a greater global shortage in the global production of vaccines and also in their distribution. So what I can say is that North Macedonia has truly subscribed to the Kovaks facility, has done all the documentation needed, and also all the partners are working very hard to make sure to accelerate the process of receiving the vaccines in the country and obtaining them at a reasonable prices. So receiving the vaccines, we have to remember, depends on the availability of the vaccines, and this is the part of the manufacturer, and also it depends on how quickly packaging and transportation can happen, and this has been really taken care of perfectly by UNICEF. But this is the case for many countries around the world who have subscribed for COVAX.
Yes, but we have seen that some of our neighboring countries have received the first doses, such as Albania and some other countries. Do you have concrete date? Like, what is your latest information that you have? When we can expect the vaccines?
The concrete dates can happen when we have the airway bill of the plane who is transporting the vaccines to the country, because we do not want to promise you with dates that might be changing from one day to the other. However, I can promise you this, that the vaccines are being packaged, they are being rolled out to other countries, including North Macedonia, and it will come up very soon.
Is it going to be just in this month, or we are going to expect them in the next months?
Ivan, I did already one mistake by saying I'm expecting them mid-March. Let us not do the mistake again, but I'm sure that the Minister of Health, who will be the first to be informed about the dates of arrival of the vaccines, and the government will be the first ones to tell you when exactly the dates of the arrival of the vaccines, because if we are not sure that the vaccines have been put in the plane coming to North Macedonia, to Skopje, no one can tell you exactly what is the date of sending those vaccines.
Yes, probably you understand why I'm insisting on the date, because it is the most important thing for the people. But we have seen last days some polls that shows that only 3% of people would like to receive the Астра Зенека vaccine. What would you say to the other 97% of people that would not like to receive the Астра Зенека vaccine?
I am not sure that those numbers, of course, the polls have their own way of doing their studies. Mm-hmm. I can only follow what WHO is saying. And one thing I want to tell the people is that hesitancy is worse than being afraid of AstraZeneca vaccines. So we have to be really quite understanding that what is important is to fight the virus, and what's important is to we have one thing in hand that can prevent the individual to go into complications of the disease and also to prevent mortality, and this is the vaccine at this time. And I would encourage everyone to take the vaccine. The issues that you have heard recently with regards to side effects, these are very, very rare side effects, and millions and tens of millions of doses have been administered so far, and we have heard only about 50 side effects. So these are true, but the studies have shown that there is no cause-effect between the side effects about the blood clotting and other blood diseases, and also taking the AstraZeneca vaccine. So what's important to remember, that we need to have the facts, we need to have the data, and yesterday WHO has announced that there is no risks, no additional risks of blood clotting or any blood disease while taking Астра Зенека as compared to the general population. I have to remind people that COVID vaccine is not going to prevent all other diseases. So diseases do happen, and some people have those diseases, and having so much of mass vaccination, we will expect to see some of these side effects.
Have you received a vaccine personally?
I will receive it once the government here brings the vaccine. I am not part of the priority groups. I don't deal with COVID patients directly. So I will very quietly wait for my turn. And when Астра Зенека will be here, I will be the first one, I hope.
You don't have problem with Астра Зенека?
Priority. I will take it.
Madam Tavila, something that is very important for the people is they're wondering when are we going to back in our normal lives. Can we say, is it possible to have normal holidays this season?
This is a $1 billion question, and I am sure that the science so far cannot answer you because we don't have enough time to understand what is the impact of the vaccines on the global spread of the virus and what is the impact of the vaccination on herd immunity. So these answers are not available yet. We need more time to see how much the coverage of the vaccination will be and how much it's going to affect this. But I can tell you one thing. The first thing I can tell you is that the vaccine for sure has proven to be safe and efficacious, and taking the vaccine individually means that you are individually protecting yourself from complication of the virus and also from death. So if we don't have any other choice, it is important to take the vaccine for sure, and we don't have choices. Having said this, it's very important that people understand that until we see a wide vaccination activity across the world and globally, because we cannot be protected unless everybody is protected. Until then, I don't expect there will be a return to just going out without a mask and without preventive measures before 2022. So we have to work all together to be able to make the vaccination succeed. And to do that, we need to remember to protect ourselves. As you know, the numbers now are increasing. And this is because the virus is mutating and the spread is high. So two things to do. When you are offered the vaccine, go and get the vaccine. Don't hesitate. The second thing, until we can have a global and also a certain level of vaccination that is still being studied, until we are told that we can remove the protective measures, we will have to wait. Until then, use the mask, social distancing, and also hand hygiene. But this is for the individual. For the government and for the public health, what we say is that be brave. Don't worry about imposing public health restrictive measures if needed, because by increasing the numbers of the infections, we are increasing mutations, and we are getting more variants, and we are getting more serious disease. So first, we truly need to work together in order to stop the spread until we can return to somehow a normal life.
Normal life. But people in Macedonia are still waiting for their vaccine. What is your message for the people in the country for the end of this interview?
I think we need, first of all, to remind them of solidarity, and that it is not possible to make a difference if each one is going to question the instructions that are given. They have to seek for information from trusted sources and to shut their ears in front of fake news. This is first. And I think the major part is that every one of us needs to protect themselves and also protect others. So it's a joint responsibility. If you have a thief coming to your home, or if you have a criminal coming to your home and trying to knock the door and enter your house, the first thing you do is that you hide and you try to get a stick to defend yourself. The stick that we have now is solidarity. All of us should remain on the individual protective levels, listen to the instructions for the public health restraining measures. They are very important, and take the vaccine when it is proposed to you. This success of fighting the virus is a collective response. So this is all I can say.
Madam Tavila, thank you for this interview.
Thank you very much, Ivan.